Today we're going to talk about leadership communication and why is it essential to good leadership. We have an excellent person to talk about that, and that's William Berenson. He is equity partner and chief marketing officer of PWRstation Holding SA. Bill, welcome to our MKB Leadership Show.
Thank you for having me, Mary Kay.
Oh, Mary Kay, that reminds me that we were in school together at the International School of Geneva many years ago.
That's true.
So tell us about your path since then.
It's interesting. Since then, I returned to the U.S. to finish my education, and I attended the same graduate school that you attended, the Global School of Management, International Management.
And as a communication expert, what is the role of communication and leadership?
Well, I think communication is central to the idea of leadership. Organizations are built on communication. Any group of people, teams, and so forth are really bound together by this connective tissue, which we refer to as communication. And leaders that can command and leverage that connective tissue or nervous system can lead organizations. Both internally and also externally, because if you think about the definition of leadership, it's really one's ability to reach out and influence the marketplace. So in that sense, communication is essential. What's interesting is that we're entering a new realm of communication. I mean, 15 years ago, it was already different, and today, the world's gone live. I mean, we have a digital connective tissue surrounding the planet, and never have so many been able to connect with so many others in real time from anywhere to anywhere, which really challenges the boundaries of communication and leadership today.
Tell us about your perspective about how Obama and Trump communicate.
Well, that's a great question, and it has a lot to do with this new environment or a paradigm that we live in. You can judge them in different ways. On an interpersonal level, one is extremely articulate and very bright, intelligent,
Obama.
And compelling, yes. The other is more vulgar, is much less articulate. But if you're trying to evaluate them on a communication perspective, you can say, well, one might be a lot more appealing, but have they both succeeded or failed? If you think about the definition of leadership, which is to reach out and influence the marketplace, then you might say neither of them really succeeded because they've polarized the markets. I mean, one appeals to one side and the other appeals to the other side. So what you can say is that President-elect Trump has the ability to leverage this new media, this digital media, much more effectively than pretty much any other, where he does it in a way that no one else has ever done, and that's worked in his favor.
Very interesting.
It is.
So you've worked with a lot of corporate leaders. Which ones have impressed you most, and why?
Banco Bradesco, the chairman of one of the largest financial institutions in Latin America, Senor Brandao. A very quiet man, but when I, at the end of an 18-20-month program, took him around to look at some of the bank branches with his entourage and with the media and so forth, I would point to something and he would slowly turn around without saying anything. And everybody, the entire entourage, turned around with him quietly. He turned this way and they turned this way. And
what influence?
And his influence was uncanny. It was incredible. And I guess I can't go on, but I was also very much impressed. We worked with the leadership of Lucky Gold Star, today LG Group, one of the great chaebols of South Korea. And we presented to the board after many months and so forth. And I remember that the board was comprised of octogenarians who were there, had been there a long time, and they said they needed to say nothing. Their wisdom through experience was just unrivaled, and they just listened. We were a line item on a series of things, but a big one. We were changing the face of this corporation worldwide, and they sat and gave us a sort of rubber stamp, a thumbs up, and we were out after all these. It was very impressive, very impressive.
So very wisdom. They share their wisdom and influence.
So there's clarity, there's influence, there's wisdom, there are a lot of attributes, leadership attributes that they all emphasize in one way or another.
Thank you, Bill, for sharing your experience and your knowledge. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for having me, Mary Kay.
Thank you for listening to the MKB Leadership Show. I'm your host, Katrina Birus, and this show has been done in conjunction with Dukascopy TV. I hope this episode has brought your leadership one step forward to excelling. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for future episodes.